2024. And now time for the obligatory whoosh. Drones over the east. War in Europe. Countries falling. Martial law in what's to be considered more advanced economies. Good Lord, what is going on? It really is out of whack. So this one is called Wartime Mentality, because it is what the Secretary General of NATO, Mr. Rutte, has said we should get into, for better or for worse. So, as a prepper, I can tell you the wartime mentality has been in the ethos for quite some time. I mean, I don't know. It's just weird out there. This drone thing, which is now kind of taken over PrepperNow for, I guess, a little bit. It's such a surreal story. I don't even know what to do with it or go with it. But I can tell you this. I don't think. I think. Let me put it to you this way. I think they're looking for something. I think they are ours and domestic, and they're looking for something. Now, what that is, I don't know. And why they're keeping it all hush-hush is probably the most concerning. But the only logical thing that really I think of, and I could be totally wrong, is that they're looking for something. You know, people have mentioned the lights on them and stuff. I mean, I don't know. We'll find out. We might not like what we find, but we will find out. Something's going on. So you're in a very strange world right now, and a wartime mentality might do you right. So if I were you, I would keep doing the things, prepping, yada, 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 and just take each day as it comes. So it's pretty crazy out there. So I don't remember it being like this. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm sensitive, but I don't remember it being this strange and wacky and all the different craziness going on. So I think we are in a bit of a strange time. So we're going to cover it all here on the Crisis Report, baby. That's all I can do. Tell you all about it, get good information, share it with you, usually 12 to 24 hours before everybody else. Because that's what we do here, folks. That's what we do here, the old Crisis Report. So it is December 12th, 2024. Strap in. Here we go. Taiwan has detected 16 Chinese warships around the island of Taiwan. Lockheed Martin. New York Post correspondent reported on Trump's canceling the F-35 contract was fake news. That is, according to them. We'll see. He said basically you're doing a bunch of DEI hires and your F-35 sucks. And it's $1 trillion boondoggle. So, I mean, he's not wrong. But they're saying it's all fake. Who knows? Alarming. U.S. mystery drones confound officials and scare locals. Really? Yeah. Nobody is giving a straight answer, so we'll see. I get good stuff over on PrepperNow, my other channel. I've been kind of doing it there. We'll see. Latest one has got the latest of the latest. They're supposedly over LaGuardia now. They're over in Connecticut. There's a sighting in California. I mean, something's going on. I don't know. Canada's largest province would be prepared to cut off energy exports to the U.S. if President-elect Donald Trump imposed his promised tariffs on Canadian goods. Ontario's premier said on Wednesday that could cause a little bit of a rift. EU has stated they agree the full Schengen accession for Bulgaria and Romania. So, full members. Blinken arrives in Jordan to start off Syria crisis tour, according to the Associated Foreign Press. Biden commutes roughly 1,500 sentences and grants 39 pardons in the biggest single-day act of clemency in modern U.S. history. That is absolutely wonderful. Yes. We'll find out about a few of these people here coming up, and it's not good. Chinese man arrested for U.S. military base drone overflight. We covered that yesterday. I think I referenced it, at least maybe on PrepperNow. 39-year-old is out in California. He was at Vandenberg Air Force Base, and he was getting ready to leave on a plane. So he decided to get a little footage, but they caught him before he left. Donald Trump's chosen Time the Person of the Year. Their Times Magazine, Person of the Year. President-elect Trump also opened the stock market by ringing the New York Stock Exchange bell. And Trump vehemently opposed to Ukraine firing missiles deep into Russia. New Syria leaders say search is ongoing for abducted U.S. journalist Austin Tick. NATO must turbocharge defense to prevent war on its territory. That is according to Mr. Rutte. International watchdog is warned of the dangers of strikes on Syria's chemical weapons sites. Oh, wonderful. Mark Zuckerberg's Meta has donated $1 million to Trump's inaugural fund. Little on the backside of Trump. John Fetterman is considering a run for the 2028 presidential election. What if he'll take on Hector Mountain Dew Elizondo for the Republicans? Yeah. Multiple sources are reporting that a multi-wave Ukrainian attack is hitting targets in Russian-held Crimea. Neptune surface-to-surface missiles, Peklo and Paliantia cruise missiles, and possibly attack. I've never heard of the Peklo or the Paliantia. I don't know what those are, but attackums are smashing multiple Russian bases yesterday evening. Huge escalation. Drone strike has hit the building of the 2nd Regiment of the Ministry of Internal Affairs in Grozny, Chechnya, Russia. 4 people were injured. This is the big story today. Chechens were pretty pissed off, called up some tens of thousands to get ready for going to the front. In Israel, sirens are sounded on Sderot and other towns in the Gaza envelope due to suspected drone infiltration. Missile interception in the sky over Eilat, southern Israel, this morning, likely after the Ansarallah movement from Yemen launched a ballistic missile. The ceasefire thing is doing great, but they're going to get into the game again here soon. Russia. Armed forces of Ukraine attacked several military targets with attackums in Taganrog, Rostov region, 170 kilometers behind the contact line overnight. Aircraft repair plant 325, the Beriev plant, the airbase, and the quarters of the 5th Aviation Group of the 6955th Aviation Brigade were hit. Response to the Ukrainian armed forces strikes with the ATACMS missiles in Taganrog will follow when and in the way deemed appropriate, according to Kremlin spokesperson Peskov. So Oreshniks will probably be getting chucked here pretty soon. Kadyrov proposed a deployment of 48,000 Chechen reserve soldiers to Ukraine in response to overnight UAV strikes on the building of the Ministry of Internal Affairs in Grozny, Chechnya. Israeli army as forces withdrew from Qam, South Lebanon, as UNIFIL strengthens its presence in patrols. A Lebanese army convoy entered the city after receiving the green light to move into the neighborhoods. Regarding Israel, Trump, I believe I have given an ultimatum. In an interview with the Times, Trump called on Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu to end the fighting in Gaza by his inauguration day, January 20th, 2025. Russia, close to reaching an agreement with the new Syrian leadership to keep 2 bases in the country. According to Bloomberg, what? I thought they were kicked out. What? Nope, they're not kicked out. They rolled out. They went to a nice, safe spot out in the sea, in the Med, and they watched the fireworks. Now they're rolling back in and ready to make some deals with the new Syrian leadership. New deployment of the Israeli army with tanks at the building of the Syrian Quneitra government, and behind its lies the village of Al-Hamadiyah. Next possible move, taking influence in the political process in the southern sector. China's PLA army, for the third day in a row, launched unannounced military exercises around Taiwan with the aim of blocking the country. 22 PLA warplanes out of 34 crossing the Taiwan's aids from different directions. An alleged UAP, UAV, UFO over New Jersey seemingly has been shot by U.S. air defense. I don't know if this is true. This guy, he had crazy video of this, but this guy does some interesting and sometimes BS stuff. So take this with a small boulder of salt. Okay. So he says not falling down, but gains height. So on this video, I think I shared it on my Telegram, PrepperNow. On this video, basically something happens. This thing lights on fire. It's in the sky, okay? And it lights on fire, and it's going down, it's going up, it's going down, and all of a sudden this thing starts to climb to the top left corner of your screen. And as it's doing it, the fire starts to go out, and it keeps moving. I don't know what it is, but I'm just telling you what I saw. Pretty sure that's over on PrepperNow Telegram. Ukraine ready to discuss deployment of foreign troops after Macron-Tusk talks. Politico. Europe can send about 40,000 people to the demarcation line of Ukraine. Of his peacekeepers, 5 brigades, Stefanisha, an expert of Tenenbaum, who works on the perfect project of such a mission for Geopolitical, said, according to the publication, Macron will discuss this very topic today in Warsaw with Prime Minister sending 40,000 troops basically into Ukraine for support. Of course, they're not going to fight. They're just going to support. Ukraine is ready to discuss the placement of foreign troops on the territory of the country. So NATO troops in Ukraine. Now, they're saying they're for defensive, whatever, but that doesn't, I mean, who knows what happens from there. And whatever happened to the North Korean troops, remember them? Are they still fighting? We don't hear much about them anymore. I guess it's more drones over New Jersey. Ceasefire for Ukraine is approaching. Restoration of Ukraine can begin in the second half of 2025. Representative of the Polish government, Kowal, said, the war will not end quickly, he added. Maximum will be a ceasefire and the end of the hot phase of the conflict. Did Russia or China set off a nuclear weapon off the California coast as a major warning to the U.S. last week? Supposedly, a massive radiation spike after a 7.0 magnitude earthquake triggered a tsunami warning in California. This is the one from last week. Again, I just get it. I put it out there. You do with it what you will. I don't know if it's true or not. Was yesterday's earthquake actually an underwater nuclear blast? Gamma radiation levels in San Diego are now supposedly triple of what they are. I don't know if that's true. After yesterday's offshore earthquake, there is presently a significant radiation spike in San Diego, now showing 600 counts per minute, or CPM, of gamma radiation in the 800 keV range, about triple of everywhere else in California. This reading comes from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Radiation Monitor Network, as being presently reported by the private sector website Nuclear Energy Tracking Center, or NETC. Now, I don't have the time to go in there and make sure all of that is correct, but maybe you're out there, maybe you have a way to make sure that is correct. All my info, please go find it. Put it in the chat if you find something off. I'm just getting reporting this stuff. I'm not, making this stuff up. I'm getting it from other people, but it doesn't mean they're not making it up. So just remember, just Just putting it out there. You know what to do. Naval group of Russia's nuclear forces has been completely updated, the commander-in-chief of the Navy announced. Rutte, NATO Secretary General, Russian threat is approaching us very quickly. Former Dutch Prime Minister has called for cutting pensions and social payments in favor of spending for more money to NATO and the gross national product. Record high electricity prices are now in parts of Europe due to Germany's decision to dismantle all of its nuclear power plants, smart move, due to Dunkelflaut, weather with no wind and no sunlight in Germany. Prices are spiking to Euro 936 per megawatt hour. So, 936 with that, 164 for coal, 275 for nuclear. You do the math. NATO Chief Rutte says the alliance is not ready for the challenges ahead in the next 4 to 5 years and urges a shift to a wartime mindset, wartime mentality. New Jersey State Police report that unidentified drones are using a frequency that cannot be detected. Like, what does that even mean? We know they're using a frequency, but we haven't detected it. Really? I mean, anyway, just weeks before Trump took office, Biden is rushing to auction off unused border wall materials. And there are those listings on government websites. They're trying to get rid of this stuff. Joe Biden has refused to grant Zelensky's request for NATO membership. State of Florida is conducting a study on how to explore using gold and silver as currency, potentially bypassing the United States Federal Reserve System. What you do is you say gold and silver are legal tender, and then you watch people use it for legal tender. White House has dismissed many of the New Jersey drone sightings as regular planes flying legally, stating that they have found no evidence to verify any of the drone reports. Donald Trump stated that he would consider ending childhood jibbity-jabbity programs and removing specific jibbity-jabbity if RFK Jr. supports the initiative if he believes that those things are harmful or ineffective. Canada-U.S. trade war. Canada's largest province would be prepared to cut off energy exports to the U.S. if President-elect Donald Trump imposes his promised tariffs on Canadian goods, Ontario's premier said on Wednesday. Israel's occupation of territory in Syria in agreement with the HTS terrorist organization continues. Israeli forces have captured Dara, South Syria. The IDF had forced its residents to evacuate the town earlier. ABC News reveals that 1 million Ukraine soldiers have died in 2.5 years. Wonderful. Anthony Blinken has supported the new government of Syria. First time in decades, Syria has an opportunity to have a government that is run by and answers to the people, and not dominated by a dictator, religious or ethnic group, or outside power. We've determined to work closely with partners so Syrians can realize the aspiration. South Korean President Yoon. Martial law attempted with a legal decision to prevent the collapse of democracy and counter the opposition's parliamentarian dictatorship. I will stand firm. Whether I'm impeached or investigated, I will fight to the end. So, okay. A threat to our democracy. Turkish Ministry of Defense. Israel is now occupying Syrian territory in violation of the 1974 Separation of Forces Agreement. Strongly condemn this invasion, which is destabilizing, escalating tensions, and causing anxiety among the civilian population, as well as benefiting terrorist groups at a time when there is an opportunity for peace and security in Syria. Jordan will host an international summit on Syria on Saturday. Foreign ministers of Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Lebanon, Egypt, Qatar, Bahrain, UAE, Turkey, and the U.S. will meet to discuss the developments in Syria. U.S. State Department, Erdogan and Blinken discussed regional cooperation and shared interest in supporting Syrian-led political transition to an accountable and inclusive government. Blinken stressed the importance of all parties in Syria respecting human rights and protecting civilians, including minorities. Blinken and Erdogan discussed the current urgent need to conclude a ceasefire agreement in Gaza. United States allocates $500 million in military aid to Ukraine. Following yesterday's reported reignition in consumer price inflation, despite people seemingly being exuberant, that it was as expected, we don't remember the Fed's mandate being stable prices in line with consensus expectations. Morning's producer prices were expected to accelerate further, also to plus 2.6% year over year from 2.4% year over year. It didn't. Headline PPI surged 0.4% month over month, 0.2% month over month, and then biggest month over month jump since June, which lifted the year over year rise in producer prices to 3.0%, far above expectations and the highest since February 2023. A drone from Yemen penetrated southern Israel and is being hunted now. Israeli Air Force intercepted a short time ago in the south of the country an unmanned aircraft that has launched from the east. There were no casualties. Hamas has said for the first time that it might agree to a deal that would allow Israeli forces to remain temporarily in Gaza. As part of the latest proposal, Israel and Hamas are considering a 60-day ceasefire period that would see the release of up to 30 hostages being held in Gaza, including U.S. citizens, according to the mediators. Hamas on Sunday submitted to mediators in Cairo a list of hostages that included U.S. citizens, women, elderly, and captives with medical conditions. Clear route to Iran. Israeli Air Force is concluding Operation Arrow of Bashan to destroy Assad's army. According to estimates, 86% of the Syrian air defense system has been destroyed. The meaning? Syria, which in the past was a significant threat to Air Force planes, that there were severely restricted in flying over its territory due to the threat of anti-aircraft missiles, is now much safer and much more open airspace for flight. IDF believes with the complete destruction of the Syrian air defense system, we have now an opportunity to attack the nuclear facilities in Iran. Iran is preparing for an Israeli strike on its nuclear sites, established of a new defense site in Natan Zand, Fordo. Satellite images after Israel's October airstrikes, including the attack on the development facility of solid fuel missiles and defense systems, indicating a change in the deployment of Iran's defense systems. Observed radar is similar to the NAJM 804 system that is used in the 15 Khordad firestorms. Why would Joe Biden pardon 2 Chinese spies and an individual accused of possessing some child smut? Yeah, that's a good question. But I guess we'll find that out on whoever else he pardons. In Germany, Islamists have gone to Christmas markets and started reciting the same prayer that Muhammad's army recited when they invaded Mecca and drove out the pre-Islamic population. Israeli is striking on Damascus as we speak. Moldovan Parliament declared a state of emergency from December 16th due to possible end of Russian gas supplies from January the 1st. Strike on Taganrog on the morning of December 11th was carried out by 6 ATACMS missiles. The Kiev regime targeted was a military airfield, Russian Defense Ministry reported. 2 missiles were shot down. The rest were deflected by electronic warfare. There were casualties amongst personnel due to falling debris. Minor damage was sustained to 2 buildings and 3 military vehicles, as well as civilian cars in a nearby parking lot. U.S. Congress approved the $884 billion defense budget for the fiscal year of 2025. U.S. Congress approved $884 billion fiscal year 2025. Trump offers European troops to Ukraine to monitor ceasefire, according to the Wall Street Journal. And the Ukraine and Russia war. Russian ground troops have now almost completely captured the village of Yelizaviv. I can't pronounce it. At the same time, the Russians were able to make further territorial gains in Uspanivka. Encirclement situations that the Russians have created are exerting enormous pressure on the Ukrainians, which explains the rapid terrain gains made by the Russians. Now only Hanivka so that's the only thing that's in danger of being encircled. Konstantinopolsky, I can't do that one. Ukrainians are reported to have regained control of the village after successful counterattacks. Direction of Pokrovsk, the Russians move on to the next phase. Novostroitsk, Zodiach, and Shevchenko have fallen. Shevchenko poses the biggest problem as this village was built with strong defenses. Russians are a stone's throw away from Pokrovsk. At the same time, the Russians are exerting pressure on the Ukrainians' supply routes with targeted attacks. Chasiv Yar, Russians succeeded in advancing west of Kalinivka. Cold War II, defense of Pokrovsk has collapsed. Seversk direction onward. Corporate executives are now selling their stock at record levels, with the ratio of sellers to buyers hitting 6 times. And that, my friends, is your crisis report. December 12th, 2024. Thank you all so much. God bless. I'm going to go to bed. We'll see you on the next one. Links in the description. Darken the bell if you're new here. Do all the things. Give me the love. Yeah. Join me on Rumble. Getting some videos out there too. All right, friends. God bless. And we will see you on the next one.